What's up? What's up?
Yo,
What's
yo,
up, you
yo.
guys? Welcome to our training today. I am super excited. You're super excited?
Yes, I am Antonio Demar. I don't know why she never says
I
who we
never
are.
say that.
Uh,
I am Ashley Denmark, you guys.
we
We
are the owners and operators of A Slipper Academy, Dinos Funding. We are investors.
and today we are teachers,
And today
we're
we are
coaches.
teachers.
Right, we're coaches.
All those things, we are those people.
Absolutely. So I want to jump into it. I want to get started. I want to make sure that we make the most out of your time today. So at any time, if you feel the need to, you want to ask us some questions, you want us to drill down a little deeper, we're here. That's what we're here for today. We want to make sure you have understanding. We want to make sure that you feel confident about what you're going to do. All right.
If you are not a numbers person, this might bother you a little bit, but if you like numbers, then you will enjoy this class. I truly like numbers. I truly enjoy doing the prep work for this class. Uh, I like money too, which correlates to each other. And let's get it.
Let's get it. All
So,
right. We've had a lot of questions over the last few weeks, and it's been geared towards, how do I use my business funding to buy houses? Some of my business funding cards um have an interest rate. All of them don't give me an introductory rate. So, like, how can I leverage OPM, other people's money, to invest in real estate and still make a profit? So, we have been doing strategy sessions, teaching our students, and we said, you know what? We need to go deeper than just our students. We need to teach our community. We need to teach REI Decoded. We need to teach you guys exactly how to do it. So if you guys are ready, I need some fires in the chat to let me know that y'all are ready. Y'all are ready to learn how to double your returns, how to make some returns. Um, when it comes to investing in real estate using credit cards.
there's two main principles that you first must understand before we even get into this. All right. The first principle you must understand is you have to change your mindset when it comes to how much money costs. All right.
Ooh.
You have to start looking at how much it costs, and you have to start looking at how much can I make, whether the money costs 5, 10, 15, 20%. Always start with the end in mind and say, how much can I make off of this money?
Yeah, never look at it from how much somebody else is investing. Whatever they invest, that's their business. Whatever they're making, let me rephrase that. Whatever they're making, that is their business. But how much are you making? Are you making your bottom line that you want to make and even beyond? For those of you who are following us from YouTube, if you're not a part of REI Decoded, please join our private Facebook group, REI Decoded. It's absolutely free. And those of you who are on REI Decoded and you feel like this training will be something that your friends or people who are interested in investing that they may be interested in, tag them in the post so that they can become a part of the community and get this free training just like you're getting it.
All right.
All right.
So that's the first thing is you can't worry about how much the money costs. The second thing is you have to start thinking like a bank.
Right.
All right. You're going to expound on that, Ms. Demar?
So thinking like a bank is basically the bank uses your deposits, all of your savings, all of your deposits, and they use that to invest it out and they make a return off of your money. So thinking like the bank is taking the bank's money that they're giving you, whether it's a line of credit, whether it's a credit card, and using that money and investing on top of it. So that way you're making money not even using your own money. So think just like the bank and reverse engineer it. The money that they're giving you, use that and become the bank, just like they're using your money to become the bank for all of your deposits and savings.
And like this is a prime example of what the bank do. The bank will borrow money at 2%, 3% interest, but they'll lend it back out at 5 and 6% interest. So they make their money in that spread. They make their money in fees. So understand that as long as you can borrow money at one rate and lend it back out at a higher rate, and you get that spread, that's thinking like the bank. And
Absolutely.
you don't always have to be physically a part of something to get a return on it. The bank does not come fix up houses. The bank don't look for houses. All that they do is lend you the money and make money.
Right.
And those are two principles that it took me a long time to get in total transparency. But once I got them, once I processed them, it clicked. All right. So I want you, it took me about 6 years. I want you to get it in 30 days, 6 months.
I want you to get it in 30 minutes. I need you to
It's
get it
gonna
in
be
30
hard to get
minutes.
it in 30 minutes if the first time hearing it.
Okay.
But I want you to start thinking and processing a little different when it comes to money.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, let's jump into it. You ready?
Let's go.
All right.
So we're gonna go over a few case studies of either past deals or current deals to where our students have used their credit cards to invest in real estate.
Absolutely. So this first case study that we're doing, this student purchased the house using Plastique. If you don't know about Plastique, Plastique allows you to wire funds to your closing department, but using a credit card to wire those funds. Other companies that are similar to Plastique is Milio. You can use either or, and they'll let you take the money from your credit card and pay a vendor, and that vendor can be the closing attorney, and it comes up in the form of a wire. It's really good when you're using Plastique to do it about 3 days in advance to allow the money time to get to the closing attorney. All right.
Yeah, so
The closing
understand
office.
that Plastic is a business to business platform. All right, you got to keep that in mind. It can't be individual to.
It can't be business to individual.
Yes, thank you for.
Yeah. Can't be
So
business to individual.
it's business to business transactions. So understand that when we are buying a house, we're buying it in our business name and we're sending it to the closing attorney, which is another business.
Yes.
You can't just you can't use like Cash App or Venmo when it's like peer to peer. It's business to business. So keep in mind you have to have a business account to use Plastic.
All right. Absolutely. So this student purchased the property for $58,000.
How you doing, Miss Pierce?
This person purchased the property for $58,000. Um, they used Plastique. Plastique charged them $1,740. Closing costs for them buying this property was $1,500. So they purchased this property as a transactional lender for 30 days. Was 30?
Yes,
For
30
about
days.
30 days. Is how long they put this money out when they purchased this property. All right. The property was then sold to the other lender who they were trying to originally use but didn't have time.
Okay, that I was gonna tap on. So
Okay.
when we did this deal, the buyer was already finna buy the property. They was already in the process of getting their hard money loan. But the seller needed to move a lot quicker than the hard money lender was going to move. So we got involved, and it's called transactional funding, to where she already knew who was going to. It wasn't trying to buy it and resell it. It was already, the loan was already in process. So when she used the $58,000 to buy the house, it immediately turned into a contract with the eventual end buyers for $63,800. All right.
All right.
And make sure you ask questions at any time doing this. If you have questions, whether it's live or on the replay, ask your questions because we still monitor these.
So let's talk about the gross profit, Tanya.
Okay. So the gross profit is what when she bought it for 58 and she sold it for 63,800. All right. So she sold it to the end buyer for 63,800. On paper, that's a gross profit of $5,800. All right. But that's not her net profit. Hey, Miss Gray, how you doing? That's not her net profit. Understand that whenever you talk to us, whenever you're dealing with us, we like to talk about net profit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So even though her gross profit was $58,000, she got some expenses for doing the deal. She had to pay Plastique. which was the $1,740. She also had to pay closing costs, which was the $1,500. All right. So those expenses totaled $3,250. All right. So her gross profit was $5,800. Her net profit was $2,550. The one thing that was in there is she used a 0% interest card on this deal. So I want you to make sure you keep that in mind. She used a 0% interest card. So she did have to make one payment of like $580, but it went towards the principal.
Definitely.
All right. So just keep that in mind that that would have been an expense if it wasn't a 0% interest card.
And if you stay on to the end, I have a special treat for you when it comes to calculating those interest payments, so you know exactly before you put your money on your card what those monthly payments are going to be. So I got a special treat at the end, so stay on to the end and I'll give that to you guys. All right, jumping back in.
Back in.
So with that, her gross profit ended up being $5,800, and that was the total of her net profit.
Too far back. You should be on net profit now.
Well, I was getting it. That was the total of her net profit. So let's talk about what net profit is, so they understand what a net profit is.
Net profit is how much you put into your account after you paid all of your expenses. How much money did you actually make? Don't necessarily look at the gross part. Is how much money you put into your account. That's net profit. Okay. So gross profit minus total expenses equal net profit. All right.
Ms. Grace said, "This is great info. I love this breakdown."
Oh, you got to stay to the end. Don't leave it. We got some more for you. All right. So the net profit was $2,550.
Well, let's even look at it like this. Most people typically make about $3,000 a month. If they're making 30, 40,000 a year, they're making about $3,000 a month. Is what they're probably making on their salary. All right. So in this deal, in 30 days, she was able to make $2,550, all without clocking in, all without lifting a hammer. Like, this was literally in your sleep money, because she didn't have to do anything but
wire the money.
Wire the money and lean on us to help her structure the deal.
Yes.
But that was it. So she made $2,550 in 30 days in her sleep. The other cool thing about this was, after putting such a big purchase on her credit card, she was able to get rewards. Like, the credit card companies are going to reward you when you make big purchases and you pay them back. So she got cash rewards that she converted it. Well, she got credit card rewards that she converted into cash and made $1,800 in 30 days just for
putting
borrowing that money, paying it back.
Yes. So keep in mind, we're not saying she got 1,800 reward points. No, the reward points turned into $1,800 cash that she transferred to her account.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to add that to her net profit.
So she made a total of $4,350 in your sleep money, because I can't stress that enough to you, in your sleep money on this deal, just by being the transactional funder, just by creatively structuring this deal to be able to make it a win-win situation.
Let's hypothetically say she did a 0% interest card, but let's say it was a 15% interest. If she had to pay 1 month of interest on this card, we're going to show you how to.
You could use the calculator.
All right, let's use the calculator. She prepared for that? So let's hypothetically say she had a 15% interest on this credit card. 15% interest. And her balance was $58,000. So if she had to pay $700 in expenses and interest at 15% for that APR, is it still worth it?
Even if it was 1,300, because it would say it was the whole balance.
I won't calculate. So this is a trick.
Okay.
Only thing I'm taking out is my interest because that's what I'm not gonna get back. I'm gonna
Because you're
get
going to
back.
get that the remaining for
Yes,
profit.
yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So understand that if you had to add a $700 line for expenses because you paid interest, it's still a deal. If you never lifted a finger, you never did anything but make money in your sleep on.
Absolutely.
All right.
Somebody said, I need some of that in your sleep
In your
money.
sleep money. Yes. So understand, like this is one example. We're gonna keep on going, but this was a quick 30-day transaction. Um, she got the money back, she used it, it all worked out well for her. Some people say, well, what happens if that person don't buy the property? The young lady who did the deal is an investor herself. It was a deal. The ARV on this property was like $150,000. So even if worst case scenario, she had to take on the deal, she would have made more money in that situation. All right. So we're gonna go to the. So if you got any questions about that scenario, let us
Drop them in
know.
the
Drop
chat.
it in the chat. We'll answer. But that was one scenario. All right. So this next scenario is this is actually a live deal. All right.
Before we go into that, we got a question in chat. It says, will it affect your credit score by using your credit card? So
Great
that
question.
is a absolutely wonderful question. So if you're using business credit cards or business lines of credit, it will not affect your credit score because it does not report to your personal credit. However, if you're using this deal and you are using your personal credit, say you got a personal credit card and you want to use it, yes, it could affect it. But guess what? In 30 days, when you pay it back, it's going to jump right back up, if not even higher. Okay.
So just to be clear, and I'm gonna piggyback on what she say, we're gonna always prefer to use business funding, business credit card, business lines of credit. Always. But I'm gonna tell you this: stop saving those credit scores, y'all. If that credit score ain't making you no money,
What is it good
what is
for?
it good for? If you got a 700-800 credit score and you ain't got $7,000-$10,000 in the bank, what is it good for? Make that credit work for you to make money. If you got to take a hit temporarily on your personal credit and put some money in your pocket, don't be afraid to do it.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to take massive imperfect actions, you guys. What's gonna get you off the sidelines. That's what's gonna help you win in this market, in anything that you do. All right, in any business venture you do, you got to take some massive imperfect action. All of the I's will never dot, all of the T's will never cross. Some of these T's turn into J's. Just be fluent and ready to be creative and do what you got to do. All right.
All right, so that was that example. You got any questions about that example? Drop them in there. We're gonna go to the next example. So this next part is a two-part example. All right, we have one person who is lending the money on the deal,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have the second person who is receiving the money to do an investment.
And we're going to walk you through both of those scenarios, but we'll start first with the student that's actually lending the money to do the deal.
Yes.
All right. So total investment on this deal is $50,000. They're going to use Plastique to wire the funds. So Plastique is going to charge them $1,500 to make that transaction go through. Closing costs are going to be $500 for this deal. The minimum monthly payment that they're going to have is $500
Yes.
per month. This deal is expected to be a 6-month deal. So $3,000 is what those monthly payments are going to be for using that credit card. This credit card is 0% interest.
This is a 0% interest, but we're gonna also show if it had interest.
Yes, this is a 0% interest credit card. So the total fees altogether, expenses that the lender is going to put out is $5,000. All right.
And that lender isn't necessarily putting those funds out on the front end. So how we structured the deal is the borrower is going to pay the lender $500 a month, and that $500 is going to cover the credit card bill. So the person that's lending the money isn't going to have a bill or any expenses. the person that's borrowing the money is going to take care of all those expenses. All right. So on that last line where it said it's a 50% return on this investment. So a lot of times, if you hear somebody say, "Hey, I want 50% on my money," I want 50% on my money, like that's too much money. I can't pay that much money. But if you see the full picture, a lot of times you can. So 50% on this is $12,500. And we told the investor, we told the lender, we're going to guarantee the full loan. So if we sell this deal in 3 months, you getting that 12,500. If we sell it in 6 months, you getting that 12,500. That's going to be your net profit. So after all the expenses are over, you're going to make 12,500 off a $50,000 investment. And I know some people like, man, that's a lot. Like, I don't understand how you can do that. The reason that he can do it is because you haven't seen the backside of the equation.
And we're going to show you that. So that's fine.
So from this first person that's lending the money out, they're lending it on a credit card. The borrower is going to pay all their interest payments. They're not going to have any expenses. The borrower going to pay the closing costs. The borrower is going to take care of all those expenses. All right. All thing he got to do is swipe his card, receive his $500 a month, pay the minimum balance.
All right. Someone said, okay, is it difficult to acquire a plastic account? It's not when you're using business to business. They are going to ask you what it is that you're doing. I suggest you say consulting, something around that rim. And then they're going to ask for your LLC docs to prove who you are. And then voila, it's set up.
Yeah. So one thing I will tell you is when you are sending business to business, sometimes they're going to want some documentations of what you're doing. So if you're buying a house, you want to give them the HUD or you want to give them the mortgage and the note. So you sometimes they're going to ask for upload to see what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So just keep that in mind when you are using plastic or those type of accounts. All right. So right now we understand what the investor is doing. This investor is going to invest $50,000. His net profit is going to be $12,500, whether it's 3 months or 6 months. Already set in stone. He has a note and mortgage that's stating those things. He has security on the property that he's lending in. Everything is secure. All right. So now we're going to go to the second part of the equation. Now, what is he going to do with this $50,000? And what type of returns is he going to make that allows him to pay somebody 50% return on their investment over a 6-month window?
All right. So let's go to it. Let's talk about it. And again, if you got any questions, drop it in the chat. If this is helping you, you guys do a heart, do a thumbs up. So that way we know that this is helping you. Let us know if this is beneficial to you. If you want more of these type of trainings, let us know so we can know exactly what you guys are needing, what you guys are wanting, so we can produce more of it for you. All right. So student 3, this is case study 3. They are doing a subject to. So what is subject to? Subject to is when you as an investor are acquiring a property and you're leaving the financing that's already there in place. You're just taking over those finances. You're taking over that loan, but you're leaving everything in place. All right. I see my thumbs up. I see my thumbs. All right. So the balance on this property was headed into foreclosure, and the student that was getting it is basically stopping it from going into foreclosure. So they're going to do a subject to the existing finance, leaving the existing finance in place. They're going to take over and they're going to make those payments to the bank while renovating it so that they can flip it. All right. So the balance that's left on the house is $154,032. That's how much is left on the loan for this particular house. To stop the foreclosure, the banks want $12,694. That's how much they're requiring so that it doesn't go into foreclosure. All right. In these type of situations, you got to act pretty swiftly because the banks sometimes need time when it comes to getting you that balance for the auction, before the auction comes. So you want to move as quickly as possible. You want to be aggravating so that you get that payoff and you can wire those funds in time. I see you. I see you definitely need more education on subject too. Absolutely. We can do one on that. Absolutely. So the owners said, okay, if you're gonna subject to my property and you're gonna take it, we need some compensation for it. This is what we need.
So from the compensation part, this is the deal that we worked out with the owners. There's a husband and wife. We said, hey, we can give y'all 7,500 a piece on the front end, and then once we sell the property, we can give y'all 5 more thousand. They like, bet, run it. So when we say we're gonna borrow the 50,000, how the 50,000 is going to be used is we're gonna give 15,000 to the original owners, and there's a 35,000 rehab on this property. When I tell you it's not, it's only reason it's 35,000 is because it's a big house and it needs a roof. But it's a basic remodel, paint, flooring, roof, outlet.
And it's a newer house. It's a new, like
It's a
it was
newer
built
construction
probably
house.
in the last 10, 15 years. So it's pretty moving and ready, honestly.
Yeah. So understand that the end investor who is borrowing the 50,000, he's using 35,000 for rehab. He's using 15,000 to give to the owners. All right. So that next line is profit to the private investor. So in all, he's going to, the net profit to the first investor is 12,500. But he's got some other expenses. So his total expenses for borrowing the 50,000 is 17,500. That's all he got to eat, the plastic fees. He got to eat those monthly payments. He got to eat those closing costs to make it easy for the investor. But in overall, it's only $17,500.
Right.
All right. You gonna take the next one?
All right. And then they're gonna list it on the market. Realtor commission, they're expected to spend about 15,000 for realtor commission. Total expenses are expected to be $254,226. They are estimating to put it on the market and sell it at 300,000. This will leave this student with $45,774 for this deal
in profit,
in net profit.
So understand that the way that we think is different. I don't care about paying $17,000 for some money if I'm gonna make 45,000. I don't care about it. Even if it was 20,000. You have to stop thinking about other people's pocket. Yes, you want the cheapest money possible, but you have to understand that it doesn't matter how much the money costs.
It doesn't matter.
As long as the deal will support you making what you want to make.
Absolutely.
Now, the investor who borrowed the 50,000, he is putting some money out of pocket on this deal. So he is using his 12,600 to stop the foreclosure.
Immediately. So
that it stops the foreclosure. Just because time was an issue and we was pressing. He could have got it from the private lender, but to make it easy, he just went on and stopped it. So he is invested almost $13,000 into this deal. He is going to manage the rehab on this deal. It's gonna be a 30-day rehab max. And he's gonna turn around and put it back on the market. He is expecting to be in and out of this deal in 90 days. That's his max. Even though the investor is thinking it might take 6 months, he's thinking, hey, in and out of this deal, 90 days. If I can make 25,000, if I can make 30,000, that's what some people make a full year.
Year, right? So let's not be greedy sometimes when it comes to how much the money costs. And imagine doing 2 or 3 of these in 1 year. Like that can change your life, that can change your situation, that can change your circumstances. But it's all about one, letting go that mental roadblock of how much does it cost? Am I going to get a hit for it on my credit? No, you're going to use business funding. You're going to use business credit. And if you need more information when it comes to getting business funding and business credit, reach out to us. Go to our website, www.thedenmarks.us. Click on Dennos Funding and set up a 15-minute call with Antonio or myself, and we can help you when it comes to getting you funding so that you can do deals. All right.
I want to talk about what it takes to get business funding, but I want to say this last time, so let me forget it.
Okay.
The sweet part about this deal, y'all, is he's a real estate agent. So a part of that 15,000 commission is going in his pocket. So understand, he's creating his own money. He's creating money. And understand that if you don't know how to make money without money, you're not going to know how to make money with money.
Ooh.
If you can't make money without money, you can't make money with money, because it's all mental.
It's all mental.
It's all a mindset. It's all understanding how money works. It's all understanding how the world works. It's not always about having money in your account to go and put it out. All right.
All right. So you want to
give us some questions about that deal? If y'all got some questions from the inner actings of how it worked, or if you missed a part of it, you didn't quite understand a part of it.
Thank you, Ramon.
Appreciate it, Ramon.
That was a dime.
Yes. So you got any questions about the deal, man? Drop it in there. But the one thing I do want to say is I want to talk about how to get business funding. The qualifications. All right.
Okay.
You can get a new LLC funded. You can get a old LLC funded. All right. If you have a credit score of about 700, that's about where the threshold is. I need to replay. That's about where the threshold is. But understand, this credit score is only one aspect of what you need for
business
funding. All right. We're looking at your data points. All right. So data points are how many inquiries do you have? Data point is what is your utilization on your revolving credit? Data points is how many different accounts do you have?
Do I have revolving accounts? Do I have installment accounts? Like, what's my breakdown? Or do I just have installment accounts and no revolving accounts? You want to have a mixture of both, and that's what helps for your credit score.
Yes, we're also looking at what's your highest credit card limit. So one dime, like my boy Devron says, in that banking business, nobody want to be the first person to give you a large credit card.
Yeah. So if you only got $3,000 credit limits, you want to get some trade lines. You want to get something up under your belt where you have a higher credit card, because that's when you'll get the most when it comes to business funding. So find someone or contact us if you need some. If you need credit cards that has $10,000, $20,000, so that way banks are more. They'll lend to you more because you already have those established versus only giving you a $5,000 business credit card.
Yeah. So if you got a $10,000 credit card limit, nobody really want to be the first one to give you 15, 20. But you got to be able to show you can manage a certain amount before that amount goes up. Nobody's going to give you, if you only got a $10,000 credit card, nobody's going to just jump and give you $50,000 more than likely, because you haven't shown the ability to manage a $20,000 or a $30,000 card. If you got a $2,000 card, nobody's going to jump and give you a $20,000 card.
It just doesn't work
like you that. Haven't showed the ability to manage $5,000, $10,000 limits. So understand those things play into the qualifications into getting funding. What else are we talking about from data points?
We talked about data points. We talked about mixed age accounts, inquiries. You want to talk about hit on inquiries?
We are looking to see how many inquiries you got. Ideally, we are wanting no more than 2 to 3 inquiries per bureau. So not
that's TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, each. And you want to make sure that you don't have any inquiries in the last 6 months. Banks don't want to know that you're looking for money, because the moment they feel like you're looking for money is the moment they don't want to lend to you and they don't want to provide you with funding. So you want it to be, okay, no inquiries in the last 6 months. So that way it doesn't show that I'm looking for money. So that way you can start that funding process. If they feel like you need the money, they're not going to lend to you. They, as crazy as it sounds, they lend to people who don't need.
That's how it works. From a data point standpoint, we're also looking to see do you have any collections or late payments. Like those are high on the list. If you got collections or late payments, first step is to clean that up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. One late payment, you probably be okay. But as long as it's not a recent late payment, you're probably okay. But if you want to maximize your opportunity, no late payments, no collections accounts. That's what's going to maximize your opportunity.
And then when it comes to bankruptcies, if your bankruptcies, if they are long ago, you want to make sure that you just don't hit those same lenders when it comes to it. So you want to know everybody that was included in that bankruptcy. You want to know who they were and make sure whoever you have doing your funding, make sure they know they're aware of it so that they don't hit those lenders up.
All right. I want to go to the calculator again. And let's hypothetically say, even though we knew that the guy who was lending the 50,000 was going to use a 0% interest card. And for those who don't understand the 0% interest game, this is game, all right? I'll never say nobody told you. If you have one 0% interest card, it usually gives you a year. But what I would do if I was you is if I still had a balance on that card, I would just go get another 0% interest card and move the balance over.
I hope y'all got that. Say that one more time.
One more time. I got a Discover $50,000 0% interest card. But it's been 6 months and now it's time to start paying interest. What I would do, because I'm always trying to keep my credit profile clean and good, is I'll go get me a Chase $50,000 card. And I'm gonna move that 50,000 from Discover to Chase. Yes, it might be a balance transfer, but I'm 0% interest over here. So there's a way to keep it going and not pay that interest. So let's say on this deal, it's $50,000 balance. Let's say he had a 10% interest APR on the card. So his interest per month is $416. So let's hypothetically say, no, you just could have said cut your light off. You have to.
I know, but I could just do it faster without.
You could. So let's say he had to pay $416 for 6 months. That's $2,500.
Who cares?
Who cares if he's going to make $12,500? He's still going to make $10,000. He's never got to meet a contractor. He's never got to talk to a realtor. He's never got to counter on an offer. He's become the bank.
He's become the
bank.
And
now he's making passive income. Mm-hmm. All right.
Any questions thus far?
If you guys want this calculator, if you want this calculator in this training, what we said, drop
the letter CCC. So that's 3 C's. If you want us to send you this calculator, I literally
and we'll put this training in there too. So we'll send this training replay and we'll send that calculator so you can play around with your current credit card bills and see exactly how it works out.
Absolutely.
All right. So you can kind of see if I got a line of credit, how I calculate this. You can calculate those things to kind of see what you have and what's the best way to use what you have. So if somebody comes to you with an opportunity, you know that, hey, I got to make this amount of money to be happy with my profit and take care of my expenses.
Yeah. I think a lot of times we say no because we don't understand what those credit card payments are going to look like, and we automatically run from it. I want to do some examples in the credit card calculator so you can see, and it's 2 different credit card calculators. So I want you to understand the difference between both. So that way you understand when you're using it exactly what you're working with. All right. So the first calculator is let's do it 0% interest. All right. So this 0% interest, we'll say it's still $50,000. So the payments that you're going to have is $500 a month. That's how much those payments are going to be. And they're going directly to principal. All right. Some credit cards charge you 1% of the balance, and some credit cards charge you 2% of the balance.
as the minimum payment.
As the minimum payment.
So this is what we calculate at the bottom. We calculate our minimum payment.
Yes. So this first calculator at the top, that's going to give it to you at 1% of the balance. All right. All you have to do in this calculator is change the interest APR and your card balance. Make sure that when you do the interest APR, you use the percent sign. That is highly important. It must be a percentage. All right. And then you're going to use the card balance, whatever that ending card balance is when that statement is ending, that's what that amount is going to be.
Let me say this real quick. So, how they calculate your minimum payment, it depends on the credit card lender. Is that the lender? Depend on the credit card that you're using. So, some people will have it where it's the interest amount per month plus 1%. Some people have it to where it is the interest amount plus 2%. Some people have it to where it's just a 2% balance as the minimum payment. So you want to be able to calculate these things to know what you're looking at and what your expenses are.
Absolutely.
All right. So if you want to calculate how much your interest per month is, I would say use this calculator because it's a whole lot easier. Should I explain the other way? That's too long.
What? No. Okay. If you were doing the interest per month, say your credit card had a 22% interest rate. So we're going to do 22% and we're going to say you lended 25,000. And remember, keep the percentage because that's what helps it when it comes to the calculation. So 25,000. All right. So your interest per month is going to be $458.33 in just interest alone. All right.
So how do I calculate that if I don't want to calculate that?
All right. So if we're calculating that without the calculator, we're going to take that 25,000. We're going to times it by let me do my formula so I can make sure I do it right. All right. So we're going to take that 25,000. We are going to times it by 12%, 22%. Then we're going to divide that by 12. The reason why we're dividing it by 12 is because there's 12 months in a year and we're trying to get to our interest per month. All right. So once we divide it by 12, that gives our per month interest. If this loan lasts for 2 months, then it's just going to be 2 months of that interest per month. If it lasts for 8 months, you're just going to multiply it by that interest per month. All right. That's how much just interest alone is.
And anytime you're calculating interest, most of the time it's done on a yearly basis. So your APR is calculated on a yearly basis, which is why you got to use 12. Mm-hmm. So understand that that's important when you're trying to do your calculations and things of that nature.
Absolutely. All right. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
So with the second calculator, this is showing it same amount. This interest is at 0%. Credit card balance 25,000.
So let me say this. So if you got a Chase card, Chase uses the first method. Chase uses
the 1%.
The 1% method. Capital One uses the 1% method. If you got a Navy Federal, they use 2%. All right. So keep in mind that those things matter when you're calculating how much your expenses are going to be.
Because your payments are going to be higher if you have to use the 2% versus the 1%.
All right. So if it's a Navy Federal card down here, that interest rate is 15%.
So for a $25,000 balance, your interest per month is going to be $312.50, but your minimum payment amount is going to be $812.50. If you were using a card that had 1%, then it'll be $412.25. But being that this one is 2%, it's double. Simple. All right.
Oh no, the calculator, right? Hold up. Calculator, right, baby?
I know.
Good job. All right. So understand, just because the payment is higher doesn't mean you're paying more in interest. Your interest can be the same. All right. Let's go back.
All right.
So
Drop them.
remember, if you want this calculator and this recording, put CCC in the comments. Um, and we can get it to you. Okay, so Ebony put
Definitely need educational subject to deal.
okay, got you on that, Ebony. She put I missed the part about the profit to the private investor. So we can go back to that real quick. So the private investor profit on the $50,000 will be $12,500. That's his net profit. Now the investor who's borrowing the money, he's gonna pay back a total of 17,500. But the net profit for the investor that's lending the money is going to be 12,500. And if you're doing it on an APR method, that's 50% APR a month. All right. So don't let if I come to you and say, hey, I got an opportunity where you can make 50% APR, but your credit card is 25% APR, that's still money, y'all.
That's still money.
So don't let the high limit scare you. Just
The high interest.
The high interest
scare
you. Just understand you got to find a deal that makes it work.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions?
I see y'all.
I see them CCs.
Right.
I see the CCs. But let's get some questions about these deals. Now I will say that these deals are our student deals. So because we are real estate coaches, we got our fingers on the pulse of real estate. We do get opportunities that come our way. Mm-hmm. Even though both of these are students, so all three of them are students. One student called and say, "Hey, I think I have a deal, but I just need some funding for it." Mm-hmm. Another student says, "Hey, I just got $150,000 line of credit. I need to put this money to work." Yeah. So we put it together so everybody wins. Yeah. It's a win-win-win across the board for everybody. Mm-hmm. All right. Questions? We get some questions. We got a master class coming up
tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Time. The link is down at the bottom. Make sure you are there. Go to the denmarks.us, click on masterclass, register. If you want to attend, you must register to attend. And it's going to be live via Zoom, so you don't have to leave the conference. The group. Right.
Don't think that it's just in the group. This is going to be on Zoom.
Yes. We have a live event on February the 7th. That live event is a property walkthrough. We're going to be in Hueytown. We're going to be walking through one of our properties with our deal partner in Hueytown. We are wrapping up the final stages of that rehab. You guys saw it. It is raw state, so it's time to see it in its beautiful state. The next live event is on February the 20th, and that is at Vulcan Park and Museum. Mr. Johnny Lenham is going to be teaching us on how one multifamily deal can literally change your life. This is a in-person event held in Birmingham, Alabama. If you are in Birmingham or surrounding areas, please make sure you are there.
If you are out of state, if you're in Tennessee, Florida,
North Carolina,
Georgia, and you want to see this training, we can have a live link for you. Now, if you're in Birmingham, we're not giving it to you. You got to get out your bed and come to the event. But if you're not in Birmingham and you're in an hour away, 30 minutes or an hour away, we will send you the link so you can watch it online.
So send us a message. Send us a private DM, either X Flipper or Ashley Denmark on Facebook, and we'll work it out for you.
Yes. All right. So let's go. Let's talk some questions. Let's talk scenarios. Y'all got anything on your mind?
If this helped you, let us know if this helped you. If this opened up your mind to more opportunities, to what are sitting at your fingertips that you just had no idea you can access, let us know.
And this is only 3 examples, y'all.
Yes.
So I had like 3 more I wanted to do, but I actually say I ain't got time for all of them. So we're gonna do another training that's real similar to this with some more case studies on how you can buy the house and then refinance on the house and get your money back.
Yeah.
All right. We're also gonna do some case studies on how you can do some gap lending with some money and make some money. Somebody put this is a game changer. That's what I'm talking about. So understand if you need business funding and you want to explore that, come talk to us. We can help you with it. It doesn't cost you anything to get started with business funding. So there is no upfront fees for business funding. We can talk about how the process works on the back end. But if you got a 700 credit score, it's worth at least having a conversation. Can we do the 15-minute link in here for Dendo's funding? Okay, I asked for too much for the team. But eventually, I'm going to go back and put the link for a 15-minute call for Dendo's funding. No obligation, no pressure. We could just talk about it and see if that's something you want to explore. All right?
Give me a second. I'm loading it.
She's dropping the link right now so that you guys can just book a 15-minute call to just talk about the options. Nobody's selling you nothing. We are here to provide value. We're here to help. So let's talk. Time to go. Are you still doing what you're doing, or you got more to say?
I'm trying to drop the link. Hold up.
Oh. Yeah, I should have dropped the link to the masterclass.
We did it. It's trolling right there.
It's what?
It's right there.
Oh, it's at the bottom. It's not. It's got to be clickable. People like clickable. All right. Any questions, y'all? Any questions? Any questions? I'm sorry. That's how I Any questions? Anything on y'all mind? Anybody got some ideas they maybe want to go over real quick? We got a few minutes left on the call. We are open. If you got something you need to kind of strategize with, let us know with that too.
But that's what these trainings are about. It's about literally helping you get past your fears, get past your, well, this won't work. Anything can work. It really involves you diving deep into it, finding out what it is that you want to make, and just making it happen.
Yes.
Sometimes leaning on people who've done what you haven't done so that you can make it work.
That's it.
These students, that's what they relied on. And they said, hey, this is the deal at hand. I need you to help me structure it because I can't do it alone. And it's nothing wrong with admitting that you can't do it alone. What's wrong is when you let a deal go by you because you just mentally quit without doing it.
Agree. All right. We feel get us something to eat. We got some meetings.
We do have some meetings. One is about to start in the next hour. We got an hour.
All right. Well, we finna go, man. Drop your CCCs in the chat if you want this replay. That the replay is gonna also have that calculator in it. And let's go, man. Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you for coming. Love you guys.
Peace.